Elizabeth Ozia, how are you this morning?
I am well, Spence. How are you doing?
Doing great. Good to see you in here this morning. Foster VC Kids. First of all, why don't you give us just an overall view? What is Foster VC Kids?
Foster VC Kids is part of the County of Ventura Children and Family Services, and we're all about finding high-quality, nurturing families for children in foster care. We've got about 900 kids in foster care in Ventura County, and they need homes with heart to love, nurture, and support them while they're with us.
Now, we have done fundraisers going way back to Dave and Bob for the foster kids of Ventura County. We know how important this is. So if we could go over the steps to actually becoming a foster parent. Can we cover those?
I can, but even better, you can come this weekend, Saturday, May 21st in Oxnard at All Saints Episcopal Church. We're actually going to have a town hall-like meeting in Oxnard to talk about how to become a foster parent, what it means, and to meet foster parents, to meet a birth parent, and to meet a foster youth. And so actually even better is for them to tell their stories. But to become a foster parent, you need to take part in an info session, so you can do it in person or online. You would take part in 24 hours of resource family approval training, and then we would do some background checks on your family. But largely what we're doing is making sure that you have the ability to provide unconditional care and support for kids. That's what they need.
And it's really a majority of people can do this.
Absolutely. 18 to 100. If you have a dedicated room for a child and you have the real ability and the heart to care for children, we're really interested in you. Okay,
so the recruitment efforts, it just seems like, it's such an interesting thing to recruit for foster parents. So you do have this information session that's coming up here again Saturday, May 21st, and that's going to be coming up on this Saturday. We will have that 9:30 to 11:30. But in general, it's interesting. Social media, asking questions.
Yeah, so I think first of all, we have an amazing website, fostervckids.org, and on that we have videos and stories of current caregivers and their experience loving and supporting children and their birth parents. But largely, we live in a county. Actually, I'll go back. There's a tribe in Africa, the Maasai tribe. And instead of greeting each other with, hello, how are you doing? Their greeting is Kasirian and Jiri, which is, and how are the children? The way they determine the well-being of their community is how the children are doing. We need to do the same thing in Ventura County. So with 900 children in foster care, we need to be asking, and how are the children? We need to make sure every kid in every community in Ventura County has a nurturing home while they're in foster care. So it's if you live in Oxnard, if you live in Ventura, if you live in Simi, there are children in foster care that need families, homes with heart, to care for them, whether it be a few days, a few months, or for some long-term unconditional support.
So say that greeting again.
Kasirian and Jiri, which means, and how are the children?
See, we should get T-shirts, bumper stickers, and all of that, because people will come up and say, what does that mean?
That's
then you could introduce them into it that way. I love that. That's sweet.
It is sweet.
A nice group of people there, because they care about the kids that much. Now, to take care of children, we all know, because most of us have had kids in our life. I have some little ones myself right now. It takes a lot of heart, a lot of love. That's the 90% of it. But there's also some things with your time, your the money and things like that. So tell us a little bit about how Foster VC Kids is supportive of the parent once they get the child.
Yeah, I think our county is remarkable because we have such a rich community of support. So when you become a foster parent, first of all, you get a monthly stipend. So it's around $800 a month for each child in your home. So that helps pay for some of the day-to-day because children are expensive. But second of all, even more than that, we have all kinds of organizations and congregations, faith communities that we partner with so that you have additional resources for clothing, for after-school programs, for summer camps, for enrichment, for free respite, which means you can go on a date or take an afternoon off and you have childcare come into your home. We have support groups and other foster parents that are peer partner educators that walk alongside you every step of the way. And so we want to ensure that for children to be cared for well, their caregivers need to be cared for well. And so we put all kinds of systems and supports in place for them.
So there's public health care, nurses, any medications the kids might need, all that. There's clinical supports, access to clothing, toys, and other resources that benefit the foster kids. So you guys have this figured out.
We are doing the best we can. We can always improve, and we're still improving every day.
And there's iFoster online resource portals for kids and the families to use. It's very, very well done. And again, we have dealt with you folks for many, many years here, going way back to Dave and Bob. So let's get down to it. The bottom line of what you're trying to do here and how you're helping the community, the children, and families.
The bottom line is we're trying to create safety networks for kids and families. The reason why children come into foster care, the predominant reason, is for general neglect and instability of their parents. When children come into foster care, their parents are really in a place of high instability. And so we want to create a safety network of support where a foster parent will walk alongside children and their siblings and their families so that in the end these children are reunified. So we're looking for caregivers and homes with this heart and with this sense of mission to support families to become strong again.
And that's one of the key things, too. Some people in their head, I think, get mixed up with foster adoption,
Right.
Understanding how long are they going to be responsible for the child, which I think once you get the child, forever probably becomes a big part of your life. Because
Absolutely. Even after we reunify children with families, we still are looking for caregivers willing to be a support for those children and those parents. Because, again, we want these children to be long-term stabilization. And foster parents create relationships with these kids and the children with them. They come to really be attached and love each other, and we want that attachment. And we want to see that continue throughout a lifetime.
Can you give us one big story, something that strikes you? I know there's probably so many that's a difficult thing to go through, but a family that has been particularly kind.
You know what? We've got a story this Saturday. And so at first I just welcome you to come to our Oxnard event this Saturday from 9:30 to 11:30. We have the birth parent, and she's sharing her story about how she was in a time of incredible stress and duress. Her children were removed from her, and to this day she stays in close contact with the foster parent, whom she calls a family member and a friend. She loves this woman who mentored her, who walked alongside her, and she says the reason why she's with her children today is because of the stability this foster parent provided her. They now have dinners together, they share birthdays together, they share Christmas together. And so this is the kind of story that can become a typical story as we have caregivers who really care about kids.
Say that little phrase again.
Oh, Kasirian Injiri, and how are the children?
I'm going to have to jot that down. Very nice. Again, where can the public learn more, all of our listeners?
FosterVCKids.org, or you may call us at 654-3220 for more information.
This is a great organization. We know that our people, our listeners, care by the amount of money they donate each year. I think we're over $40,000 this time around. It's really a remarkable run that we had on our last Children's Services Auxiliary fundraiser that we did. So we know this is in your hearts, it's in your mind. So please attend. We'll have more information. We'll do a link up on our Facebook page, too, to get a lot of exposure for this. And it is coming up this weekend. The info session is Saturday, May 21st, 9:30 to 11:30 at All Saints Episcopal Church, 144 South C Street in Oxnard. Thank you so much for coming in, and you're going to have to jot down that phrase because it's out of my head again. Can you say it, Rich? Go.
Kasirian Injiri.
Go. Harry. Dope. You see, he took years of French at Berkeley. We got to work this out because that is very nice, very sweet. Thank you so much for coming in this morning. We really appreciate it here on News Talk 1590 KVTA.